No one could have known it then, but when Daytona International Speedway opened in 1959, it marked the beginning of a new era in American motorsport. As a replacement for the old beach road course a few miles to the east, the opening of a high-bank 2.5-mile Florida tri-oval represented the leading edge of a wave of construction of big paved speed palaces. Before Daytona, Indianapolis was the only American oval track longer than 1.25 miles, and most racing took place on dirt ovals a mile or less in length. In the very first Daytona 500, won by Lee Petty in a three-way photo finish, those high banks proved a favorable venue for wide-open stock car racing. Daytona kicked off the growth of NASCAR as we know it today. Daytona International Speedway's infrastructure has grown and changed to such a degree that it'd be almost unrecognizable today to someone who hasn't seen it in the last 20 years. It's an amazing motorsports facility, but one thing hasn't changed over the past 6 decades. No driver can consider his or her career complete without notching a victory at Daytona. From Dale Earnhardt, who captured the 500 in 1998 after coming so close so many times, to 14-year-old kart racers whose racing resumes are just beginning. A victory at Daytona is a mark of distinction. Tonight, it's race number 1, the No Bull Racing Series, Daytona 188, presented by Right Turn Racing, and it's next on HBR TV. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Steve Singer, joined alongside Eric Dotson in the HBR TV booth. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing good, Steve. How about you?
Doing well. Excited to kick off another season, which, last year and the years prior was the Superior Class Auto Racing Series, but things have changed. A little bit of rebranding, a little bit of, whole theory is all different here. We brought the fastest guys we can think of to bring in here, took some of our top 5 drivers, and they're going to make them mid-packers. So maybe they'll get better. Maybe they'll just stick around mid-pack. Maybe they'll get worse. Who knows? But it's certainly going to be a great season to watch. This is kind of the anomaly, though, here at Daytona, the Super Speedway, having to deal with I can't even call it restrictor plates anymore, but it's that type of racing. It's kind of an equalizer across the board. Yes, there's some skill involved, but some drivers may kind of dispute that. Some say, it's just all luck of the draw, but you perform really well on tracks like this. I mean, what's your take on it? Is it skill-based? Is it luck? Is it a bit of both? I mean, what is it?
I think it's a little bit of both, and knowing how to maintain your speed in the draft and how to get those runs and having good help. I mean, the races that I've won on these tracks, I've always had good help. You know, I know you pushed me to a win there in the IROC series, so you got to make friends here, and you got to keep friends. And I know we're racing teams this season, and the teams are going to come in big here tonight.
Well, qualifying has already been taken care of. We addressed that last week. Single car qualifying, something we do here. We kind of stole the idea from SCAR back in the day, and we said, let's do it this season. It was a lot of fun. The drivers really liked it. So we had its own qualifying event last week. Then the duels, of course, followed to set the rest of the field. But tonight it's 75 laps. We're going to get a stage break at lap 25. We do have one fast repair for the drivers tonight. That's not the case anywhere else this season, only on the super speedways. And I believe 2 sets of tires over the wall, working with a 90% fuel load. So that's what they're going to have to be faced with. The stages, like I said, we've got kind of the opposite of what we used to do. We're doing a little bit early of a stage, and that gives us a longer green flag run to the end. So interesting challenges here. It's going to lay down for different fuel strategies, having to stop under the green flag, at least more than likely, of course, unless we get a caution. But we'll see how it plays out. Warm-up 35-minute session here. Nobody's on track at the moment. They're all in a driver's meeting, so nothing really to call. But let's get a quick break out of the way, and we're going to be going to a green flag here momentarily. like Millett might have won this. He did by 2/100ths of a second over Brandon. That S4 guy off turn 4 for the final time sees the checkered flag. It waves. It belongs to the 315. Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Daytona International Speedway, race 1 of the Noble Racing Series. Take a look at our starting grid. On the pole position, the number 19 out of the state of Georgia, it's Kason Plott. Outside front row, the number 46, David Bradford. Row number 2, Brian McCann starts third in the 3. John Ballou, the number 9, rolls from the 4th position. Chris Goins, right turn racing zone, number 28, starts 5th. Jeremy Paris, the Speed Clinic Racing number 24, starts in the 6th position, with Brandon Mefford, the Falcon Motorsports entry number 83, starts 7th. Neil Quick in the 2, champion last season, coming out here to try and defend that title. He starts 8th. Mark Thomas, Team Crumpets, of course. Mark's from the UK, how could you tell? The number 50 rolls in the top 10, the 9th starting position. And his outside from Indiana, it's Mark Truxell in the 5. Brian Rose, the number 89 machine. He starts from the 11th position. 12th is Jamie Kerr, the number 75, and Vincent Short, the number 15, starts 13th. 14th is Alfie Sharon, the number 51 Sharon Racing entry. And this won't go forward. First race of the season, already with the technical difficulties. Well, unfortunately, our starting grid will not cycle through anymore, having some problems with the overlay. This presented itself during the Daytona 24 in the last 24 hours as well. But nonetheless, at least you got your top 14 drivers. But we're getting ready to go under the green flag here as the field working turns 3 and 4 already.
Who you got real quick, Steve?
Oh, who are we going to pick? Who are we going to pick? You know, Kason, I know he's on the pole position, but he looked good in the draft last week, even though he doesn't really care for this type of racing. I'm going to go with the number 19 of Kason Plott.
I'm going to take the number 3 of McCain.
Brian McCann, another good pick. Pace car pulls off the racing surface down pit lane. Barney, the flagman, with the green in hand. We're underway from Daytona.
We got a huge field here today. That's what I love to see. Everybody coming to the green flag here. The 19 of Plott and the 3 of McCann working early, trying to get that low side going as McCann pushes Plott up into the lead.
And these tapered spacer engines still, just like anything else back in the day with restrictor plates, they take at least a full lap to really get up to full song, and that's really what they're doing right now. You see David Bradford and the 9 of John Ballou to the outside. They work together. They know each other quite well. In fact, they are teammates. You see them working together a lot this season. David Bradford goes to the point there, slides down to the bottom in front of the 19 of Kason Plott. David Bradford off turn 4, looking to lead lap number 1.
David used that high side and got that run down the back stretch and was able to complete the pass. We'll see if the number 9 will be able to do the same thing this lap.
Biggest part of that run came from the 9 of Ballou, giving him a big push down into turn number 3. Now they're side by side. They can kind of control both lanes if they work together.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to quite get the run that David got the lap before, but he will definitely get a little bit of a run here. It's good to see David Bradford back here in the series with us and racing for a championship this season. David's always one of the top contenders.
Well, it was kind of something we talked about really as a group, is getting some fast drivers in here. I know there was a handful with Scar last season that were just far and away faster than a lot of other guys. Needed some competition for those guys, and they're certainly here. David Bradford, one of them. Of course, Case and Plott, new to the series. John Ballew's going to be fast. Brian McCann, fast almost everywhere we go. Road courses included. You got Neil Quick, of course, returning as a champion from Scar last season. He's got a lot of big names up here in this group. A lot of guys trying to make a name for themselves to see if they can knock some of them guys off.
Yeah, I mean, everybody I've talked to about this league has talked about how much talent is in it and how hard it's going to be a top 5, top 10 racer this season. Looks like Bradford may have edged out Blue at the line to lead that lap, as they're still side by side all the way back as far as you can see right now.
Speaking of guys from Scar from last season, you've got Jamie Kerr there in the Holler Boys race in number 75, sporting some new colors on that entry, as well as, well, an old familiar name. That's Mark Truxell just ahead of him in the similar looking paint scheme, the Little Tate's Cupcakes number 5.
I think Mark's definitely a favor with anybody who races against him. Just so much respect for iRacing and gives his competitors so much respect and clean racing. Now that don't mean he's a pushover. If you do something he don't like, he lets you know about it.
Absolutely. Mark Truxell, though, I think the most dangerous thing about him right now is we're 5 laps in here and he's already up into the top 10. Usually he sits in the back for quite a while, just kind of playing his cards the right way, keeping it close to the vest, not damaging that truck, making sure it gets to the finish, and then he starts to go. Well, he's up towards the front right now. It's probably a good place to be, because with the competition level of the drivers here in this series, it's going to take some help, maybe some luck, to work your way through the field.
Yeah, we've seen it in the duels where it was hard to get through the field if everybody was side-by-side racing. And you know, a lot of people's strategy is going to change this year when the field may not have been as big, so there are different strategies running.
You know, we talk about difficulties in trying to get through the field in the duels last week. Zach Millen, of course, had his own share of issues last week in qualifying. Got penalized right off the bat. His single lap did not get registered, did not count. We still don't know exactly what the issue with iRacing was. Typically, it'll tell you what the problem was. Not the case here with Zach. Didn't have a great showing in the duel. Got wrecked a couple of times, burned the fast repairs, and just was not able to make it back towards the front. Had a strong truck, but here he is. He's running the 35th position, trying to work his way towards the front.
Yeah, and you know, Zach normally doesn't say much about starting at the back because he's been able to come to the front every time, but he was not happy about his qualifying issue and then having to start from the back.
Now, Millet, he wouldn't necessarily go as far as to say he was pissed off, but just knowing Zach and talking to him, he was not a happy camper. So hopefully he's put that all behind him here. He's got his head screwed on right for tonight's race, because he certainly has his work cut out for him tonight. Another driver we want to spotlight here. It's the 50 of Mark Thomas. Mark's been behind the wheel of a race car, I think, quite a bit this weekend, as well as some others running the Daytona 24, the iRacing Daytona 24. Mark was not only driving, but also building setups, not only for his own team, but, well, HBR Autosports team as well, who took a second-place finish in their split in the 7 a.m. session of the Daytona 24. It's myself, Zach Millet, Terry Crouch, who's also in this race, Kevin Burrows, and Brett Guzik, some other familiar names, maybe from Lone Star Racing's GT3 series, which will be broadcast here on HBR TV as well. But
caution.
Caution's on the speedway. Alfie Charon went off the track. And Zach Millet in the grass as well. Chris Mefford, Keaton Burnett, Brian Torsha, Joe Tucker, Mike Fahey appear to be all involved here. Let's get a look, see what happened. May have happened just up ahead. Chris Elliott, Carson Conway. Oh, we got big trouble. We're going to back this up. Take a look. Looks like the 54. I think that might be Chris Mathis. Yes, indeed. Chris Mathis, that green and black machine up the middle, 3 wide. You got Brian Rupert to the outside, and then Mike Fahey, the 16. Let's watch this unfold here. Chris does just slide up a bit. Doesn't look like Fahey comes down at all. Catches the 16 in the door. Now, again, this is in front of traffic. Then you got a big wad up here. You got Chris Elliott, Brian Rupert. You got the 26 machine, Joe Tucker. Alan DeFries is just sitting there watching it. Alfie Charon, the 51 down low. I don't know if he gets through this unscathed or not. Carson Conway gets away, but with some damage. Brian Torsha takes a big hit into the 84. I think that's a Mefford brother as well. Yep, Chris Mefford. Big trouble already early on here at Daytona. Let's take a look at the yellow here. I think Millett got through this okay. See the 315 on the bottom of the racetrack. We'll go full speed here. Just dives it down the grass. Doesn't want to burn that fast repair so early. Learned that the hard way last week, so you can see it's probably a little apprehensive about wasting one early on tonight. Millett down pit lane anyway, maybe to top off the tanks. Again, only 2 sets of tires here at Daytona. Over the wall. 7-second stop, so likely just fuel only. Maybe a little undercarriage repair. Who knows? But through all that, it appears that Brian Rose is going to be your race leader. Indeed it is. Brian Rose sporting the AgentDotson.com colors this weekend.
That's a good-looking truck, Steve.
Certainly is. Brian, of course, the owner of Track Bar Media, but supporting AgentDotson.com, the Eric Dotson agency.
He said that paint scheme and that anytime he has Agent Dotson on there, it gives him bad luck. So let's hope he has a good finish.
Well, we'll see. We're only 10 laps in, so it's possible. So far, so good, though. He's up 10 spots. Again, guys, you guys watching here in the stream, the chat is open. We do have it on slow mode to limit the spam. But feel free to chime in, say hello, where you watching from, who you cheering from, the works. We are chat friendly.
I know Brian's loving being out front right now and being able to lead a lap.
Accumulating points starts lap 1, race 1. Because you don't know if at the end of the season it's going to come down to that 1 point that you could have gotten but didn't to determine whether or not you make it in and compete for a championship, or at the very last race of the season, whether or not you win that championship. So we're doubled up 2x2 here. Brian Rose, Chris Goins going to be your front row. Then you got the 83 of Brandon Mefford, and we've got a mismatched number here. I'm not sure who that is. It's the number 9 on the door. I think it's Patrick Colby with the wrong number on it again. We'll get that squared away. Let's try it again. Pace car's off. Going to be lap 12 when we take the green flag here, back underway. Remember, first stage ends at the completion of lap 25, so it won't be long. We're about halfway already.
Yeah, I know everybody's wanting to get to these stage points, so we may have a good shootout here. So Brian Rose is able to get out, and that bottom is pretty much lined up. Up top, we only have 2 trucks synced up together right now. It didn't take them long to get hooked back up there. Right there they come.
Beautiful camera angles, brought to you courtesy of Whiplash Sim Cams. Custom cameras for every race this season here in the Noble Racing Series.
One thing I'm kind of surprised with is Brian Rose. You know, that low side's been the side to be on it. He went high up in front of Chris Goins, but it seems to have paid off so far.
It's all about lane control as far as you got to work the top, work the bottom, and at the same token, though, he knows Chris Goins. He's trusting of him. He knows how he drives. He doesn't necessarily know the 9/47, which again is Patrick Colby. Does know Will Hewitt, though. Again, Will Hewitt comes over from the Superior Class Auto Racing from last season and seasons prior. Won some races here late in the season. Didn't run the full season, but still competed for a championship nonetheless.
You got 3 guys who's raced a lot with each other right there on the high side.
Eric Beadle in the number 119 machine. He runs in the 7th spot. Beadle's up 25 positions. He's self-proclaimed not much of an oval racer, at least as far as asphalt is concerned. He tends to run dirt more than anything else. So this is kind of a trial by fire education for Eric Beadle, running there inside the top 10 early on in the event.
Chris Goins just doing a great job of pushing Brian Rose right now. Him and Medford and the 119 of Beadle, they're just really getting a good run. I mean, it's not very often you see the high side keeping up, battling for the lead in the turns that they're doing. Brian Rose has had many opportunities to go down to that bottom side, and like you said, he must be comfortable with Chris pushing him, with the more familiar that they are with each other.
You know, really, it's Brian Rose, Chris Goins. You've got the 83 of Mefford as well, Brandon Mefford, and then Eric Beadle, though, albeit you can call him a rookie, at least in this series. They spent some time in a prior practice working together, so there's some familiarity there as well. And then you got the 21 of Jesse Redding. He knows that whole top line, Alan DeFries, Mark Truxell. I mean, these guys are all relatively familiar with each other. But you also got to keep in mind that it is still early. Yes, we're coming up on a stage break here in a little while, and there's going to be points paid for that. Meanwhile, Will Hewitt takes the top spot briefly. Brian drops back down to the bottom in front of the 47 of Colby. Again, the 47 with the 9 on the door. The 9 officially is John Ballou. The 47 with the wrong number, the Monster Energy, that blue and pinkish color there. In the 2nd spot, inside row.
I mean, Brian's been a little bit aggressive here. Instead of running behind Will Hewitt, he said, no, I'll go down there and let Colby push me, and I'm going to try to lead every lap I can. And, you know, he's got a rocket ship right now with 9:47 and Kobe behind him.
Bit of a slip from Will Hewitt, it seems. He gets checked up in front of Chris Goins. Might even be dragging the brake a little bit to try and bunch these guys back up and get a good run. But it pushes Brian Rose back to the point.
I think if he comes back hard, maybe Brian Rose goes back high. I think he was liking that high line better.
Checking on things mid-pack, Justin Clapper, the number 63 machine, runs in the 17th position. You can see he has some of his Thunderclap teammates in close proximity. The 63, the 00, and I think there's another one back there as well. The 13 to Joe Tucker, not one of them, but similar colors. Noah Rainwater, the other Thunderclap entry. And then Mike Fahey just behind him. You see the number 16. Fahey typically running the 19 truck, but didn't get here in time to secure that number, so might as well just flip that 9 over. Close enough. We do have a distinct second pack here, further back from that main pack. I think Zach Millett is heading that lane up. Indeed he is. You've got Millett, Alfie Charon, Vincent Short, Neil Quick. There's Brian McCann there in the 3, then Carson Conway, the 72, Brian Rupert. All very smart race drivers out there, taking their time, not worried about stage points so early on. They're taking care of their equipment to be around when this thing goes green at the end.
Yeah, and I know Zach was involved in that accident earlier on, so, you know, he may be out of a faster pair. He may, we don't know the situation there, so he may just be right until the end.
Well, visually, when he left the scene, the truck didn't look to have any damage on it. I know he did go to pit lane, but maybe just to top off for fuel, keep the rear deck a little bit low so you can have most straightaway speed possible. That could be. It's all speculation because we don't get any indicator as to whether or not that faster pair was burned unless, well, it's damaged and then it's not. Back out front, Brian Rose with the nose out in front. Will Hewitt now to his outside.
Well, Hewitt's probably going to get a pretty good run right here, as it looked like the bottom side was weaving a little bit back and forth, which was breaking their momentum.
Just simply going left to right, it actually, well, it's friction. I mean, you're scrubbing speed almost literally from that truck by going left and right. It's not like you're hitting the brakes, but you see Terry Crouch up top getting out of the way. And Terry Crouch, a very successful road racer. Again, Terry was in the Daytona 24 with us, but jumping back into the oval world. Again, more baptism by fire for now the 59. Not sure what happened there with Terry, though. I don't think he was involved in that first caution. Maybe he just lost the draft. Nonetheless, he's gone a lap down. Good news is I think he's the only truck one lap down right now, so if we get this stage break here in about 4 more laps, he's going to get that lap back. So Brian Rose back up top now. He keeps switching up lanes here. It's interesting he's able to do that and still maintain the lead position. A lot of times one lane will become more dominant over the other.
Yeah, he's been a lot more aggressive than we normally see out of him. I think he knows that this is going to be a very competitive league, and he's trying to get all he can early.
Well, and then Brian will admit this too, is like he was typically a top 5 guy. He was competing last season in SCAR, won some races, but with this new group of drivers, it's going to be a little more difficult to take those wins. Of course, now we've got drivers heading down pit lane.
I don't know about this call, Steve.
Well, I know there was some talk about closing pit lane prior to the stage. I don't know if it was mentioned in the drivers' meeting or not, because we were not a part of that meeting. We were on the air. But lap 23.
I think it was going to be the lap before, but I mean, the bonus points are for the top 10, correct?
Correct.
And a lot of these guys were in the bonus points position here.
Well, again, you know how hard it is to work your way through the field. They may be just trying to get some track position here for the stage. Got Luke Rainwater looking about what's the average tire life. Well, Luke, I'll be honest with you, 75 laps, you don't necessarily even have to take tires. At a place like Daytona, at least. It may differ from track to track. The really only advantage you get out of taking tires at a place like this is it allows you to be a little bit more aggressive with your lane changes and the moves that you make. Maybe take a harder push from the guy behind you, but you don't have to take them. They'll probably last the whole race. Fieldworks turn number 3 here. They're going to get the final lap of the stage when they cross the stripe, so one more time around. They have to complete lap 25 before we get the yellow. Yellow should come out next time by when the top 10 crosses the stripe. So white flag one more time around to close out stage number 1.
We got Brian Rose and Chris Goins both fighting for this stage win here. We'll see who can pull it off. Brian's been pretty dominant. We'll see how good Chris can do in 3 and 4 here. If he can't get a pretty good run, Brian may be able to hold him off for the stage win.
Those guys that all pit prior to the stage end, they did it the right way. Did it together as to get a draft when they go back onto the racetrack. But here we are coming down, green and white checkered flag at the stripe. It looks like Brian Rose is going to win stage number 1. Caution is out. Trying to get our top 10 lined out here. Looks like it's Brian Rose, Chris Goins, Will Hewitt, the 83 of Brandon Mefford, Patrick Colby, Eric Beadle, 85 of Matt Goodell. Jamie Kerr, Jesse Redding, Justin Clapper. That's your unofficial stage win. Stage paying positions. Eric Beadle, good job in 6th. We're going to jump out and get a break out of the way, and we'll be back after this.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the virtual Daytona International Speedway, race number 1 of the Noble Bull Racing Series. Daytona 188, presented by Right Turn Racing. Just wrapped up stage number 1. Got some guys working some track position, some strategy. John Ballou is your current leader as he pit just before the stage end. Now again, we're still looking for some confirmation on the closing of pit lane prior to the stage. I know it was discussed earlier in the week about the ability to do so. Typically, you would close the pit lane 2 laps before the end of that particular stage, so guys couldn't come down, take their pit service, not lose a lap, and well, just stay out when everybody else pits under the yellow. But I don't know if it was mentioned in the drivers' meeting or not, as again, myself and Eric were not in that meeting. So, we'll worry about it next week, but for now, it seems like everybody's hunky-dory. So out front, it's John Ballou, Jeremy Paris, Case and Plot, David Bradford, Brian McCann, the top 5, Jamie Kerr, 6th, Brian Rose, after pitting under the stage caution, he's 7th, Justin Clapper, 8th, Chris Goins, 9th, Keaton Burnett is 10th. Pace car lights off, which means we are on the 1 to go. Go back to the green flag next time by. It'll be lap 30. Again, guys, feel free to chime in the stream chat. We are stream chat friendly. Keep it PG, please, for the kids. Got a few of you guys. Let's see. 7-Eleven Trick, Eric Dotson, of course. Luke Rainwater, he's well, he's not in the race, I don't think. I think that's Noah who's in the race. Got the Tucker family, Keaton Burnett, Nikki Short, cheering on Vince. Thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to chat it up. Field is all lined up like grandma's onions, getting ready to go back to the green flag. Pace car down pit lane. Barney the flagman, green in hand, he waves it. We're back underway from Daytona International Speedway. Everybody back up to full speed here. David Bradford, Jeremy Paris, front of the field, and it's John Ballou, Jamie Kerr. The 63, Justin Clapper, then down low, it's Case and Plot. Haven't heard a whole lot about Kaysen since the drop of the green flag. Started pole position, but quietly just staying there, taking care of the truck. Jonathan Arn and Ray in the chat. Thanks for stopping in. David Bradford down on the bottom. Now the top side. Jamie Kerr leads the outside lane. Big push from the 63. That's Justin Clapper. Big wiggle. At the line, I think Jamie Kerr might be credited with leading that lap. Every lap does matter, as it does count 4 points at the end of the season towards that final championship.
Yeah, those bonus points can be the real deal when it comes to winning the championship or not.
Jonathan Arndt in the stream chat asking, what happened to Mike Fahey? Well, he's still on the track. Currently not on the lead lap. Was involved in an earlier incident. Brought us under our first caution of the night. And unfortunately, I think he actually blew up. I think he had to get a tow back to pit lane. Use that fast repair, so he's still in it. Certainly going to need some cautions to get him back into the mix of things. Yeah, Fahey is the first truck one lap down, so we get a yellow. He's back in this. Oh, we got a yellow.
Caution, caution.
Big trouble already. Still wrecking at slow speed. I don't know what is going on back here. Noah Rainwater in the fence. Vincent Short involved in this. Chris Elliott, he has to tow back to pit lane. Blair Patterson driving away. A little bit of right front damage, it looks like. Brian Rupert. Looks like it might have started with Matt Goodell. Let's take a look. Yeah, the 85. What's going on? Or is this way up ahead of these guys? Let's try to get a little further forward. Oh, yeah. Alfie Charon's in the fence. Terry Crouch. 85 is down low as well. That's Matt Goodell. Oh, big trouble way up here. 83 of Brandon Mefford. It continues. Let's back it up further. Looks like this may have started here around the Will Hewitt truck. And let's watch it unfold. Ooh, Noah Rainwater gets to the back of the 00, who's not at full speed. Will Hewitt drops to the bottom to try and avoid hitting the 05, but either gets into the 83 of Mefford or he is avoiding, but slides up the track nonetheless. But here you go. This is the chain reaction crash. Guys checking up behind, getting into one another. This is just what happens at a place like Daytona and Talladega. Something happens up front, everybody starts checking up, and it's a big domino effect. We'll watch it again here in real time. Oh, Chris Mathis gets into the back of the 83 pretty hard. That's what sent him moving around. But if Mike Fahey avoided that, which I think he did, that's going to put Fahey back on the lead lap. And Brian Rose back out in front.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Getting ready to go back under the green flag. Be lap 37 when the cars cross the stripe, or trucks in this case.
Familiar duo out front here tonight.
Goins and Rose coming to the line. Behind them, you've got the 85 of Matt Goodell, and then David Bradford. That's the top four. Back underway. Jonathan Arndt asking about Mike Fahey. Did he make it through? Yes, he made it through. I think he's going to get that lucky dog, or actually got that lucky dog. It doesn't show that he got it, though. Says still Fahey one lap down. The only reason he wouldn't have gotten that lucky dog is if there was any kind of contact in that incident, regardless of it actually being a legit crash. We got a car in the wall. Big trouble. Elfie Sharon straightens it back out. Are we going to stay under the green flag? Looks like we are good. They keep everything going forward. We stay under the green flag. They're going to have to get gathered back up and draft their way back and work together. But some masterful driving. These guys able to keep these trucks straight and going forward. Some guys maybe diving down through the grass, but they all made it through. Don't know if this is the same incident. Let's take a look. Yeah, it is. I'm going to back up here, try to get an idea of what happened.
Looked like it may have been a case of the don't push the pusher.
Yeah, everybody straightens it back out and continues on, though. Hurt feelings, but it is what it is. Meanwhile, back out front, Brian Rose still with the lead as they work off turn number 4. But yeah, going back to the lucky dog scenario, if even anybody just slightly touched or rear-ended the lucky dog candidate as that caution came out, before he's awarded it and taken it, it revokes that lucky dog. So that very well could have been the case. I don't know if he tried to queue up and talk to admins or not, but that would explain it. The way these guys are running, though, I think we're going to have more than one caution. He may still get a chance to get back in this.
Yeah, with these guys having a fast car, I don't think the cautions are done. Chris Goins just doing everything he can on that high side to lead every lap. You know, the most laps led, the best, or the more points.
Seems to be the safest place on the racetrack, too, is staying right out front. That does tend to change a little bit. The odds of being involved in a crash late at the front certainly get higher and higher as the race gets closer to its conclusion. Guys are more aggressive. They're going to push harder. Of course, anybody that's in a second spot on the final lap at a super speedway, they're going to do anything and everything they can in that bag of tricks they've got to try and get around the leader and win the race.
Yeah, I think before too long, these guys kind of maybe 10th and on back. They'll, you know, not right now, not anytime soon, but before this race is over, I think you'll see them trying to do a line on the high side.
Well, you think about it here. I mean, you've got guys like Case and Plott, Brian McCann. They're running in that 9th and 10th position. Mark Thomas there in 11th. Mark Truxell has slid back into the 17th position, maybe by design, just trying to take care of things. Zach Millett, haven't seen too much of him today. He's up 10 spots, but started at the back of the pack, so he's only in the 20th position right now.
I'm going to steal a line you use a lot from Mark Truxell. You talk about calculated drivers, and I think that fits Mark to a T. He's a calculated driver in every move he makes.
Well, it's a line I think I stole from Days of Thunder. It's that there's calculating drivers and there's kamikaze drivers. Mark Truxell is a calculating driver.
It looks like we may see some 3 wide right above Mark here.
Indeed, you got Mathis up the middle. He's not afraid to do it. Will Hewitt, though, he's like, you know, I'm going to tuck in behind here. It's still too early to risk it. 42 laps in of 75. Again, this back for the 17th, 18th position.
Chris Mathis, somebody we've raced with before, he's always been fast.
Mathis, the number 54 machine. Chris Mathis is a guy that can put a hurting on you just about anywhere, road courses included. Back to the front, Brian Rose still in command. The outside is Chris Goins, the number 28 machine. AutoNation entry, the number 85 in behind Brian. That's Matt Goodell, the 46 of David Bradford up top, that green Bradford Aeroworks machine. Pat Colby, the number 9/47 in the timing tower. Again, we got to get that worked out. Jamie Kerr, the number 75. Then up top is the number 24. That is Jeremy Paris. And we've got Joe Tucker just outside of Jamie Kerr, number 13 entry.
Looks like we're 3 wide again right here near 10th, maybe.
If so, everybody straightened it back out, went 2 wide. Again, still relatively early to be that aggressive, but as we've talked about it a couple of times already, you're going to have to make moves like that to get towards the front. Otherwise, it's just going to continue to be follow the leader in both lanes. You have to be aggressive and make moves to get towards the front. It's the only way it's going to happen. At the stripe, Chris Goins is going to lead that one with probably a bit of an aerodynamic assist from David Bradford. .31 laps remain here from Daytona. Chris Goins and O's out in front over Brian Rose. Then it's Bradford, Goodell, Paris, Tucker, Colby, Kerr, McCann, and Plott in no particular order because it changes about every 100 feet. And at 200 miles an hour, well, that's pretty quick. Can't keep track of it, not even digitally. Again, at that speed, they're running a football field just about every second. Current speed with the leaders, they're running 182, 185 in that range miles an hour. Thing is, looking at these guys, they're all saving fuel right now. The top speed for some of these drivers are over 190 miles an hour, but the whole field is running between 180 and 185 in the draft right now. Some of these guys must have done some homework.
That 89 and 28, I know they're using the most right now.
Certainly are. And John Ballou in the 9, he's up top. I think he's going to be going down a lap here. I think he was involved in that last caution. Stays high, stays out of the way of the lead pack.
Everyone does a great job of getting around him right there.
Ooh, Ballou drops down in front of Millett. Millett goes to the high side, says, no, thank you. I'm not lifting for that.
I'm sure Zach's not too pleased with that move. He's got his teammate in front of him, Eddie Rose, and Blue breaks that up.
Now Millett still has Eric Beadle in his sights. He's going to have to draft back up to that 119 machine to do just that. And Ballou slides back in front of Millett. Millett wants no part of being behind that 9 for some reason. Don't know if it's just the added drag because of the damage on that 9 truck, but it's not someone you're going to be able to really follow up through the pack, or if you even can. Once you get up front, damage on that truck kind of becomes a parachute. You kind of slow that whole lane down. Right now, you can't really see it or really expect any kind of performance deficits because air's really not hitting that part of the truck when you tuck in behind another competitor.
Yeah, that 9, he's all over the place trying to get back towards the front, or maybe, I don't know if he's the first car lap down. Maybe he's trying to stay in the lucky dog position.
John Ballou, I believe, just now has gone down a lap. So, yeah, I think that does put him in that lucky dog spot.
Looks like the leaders is getting ready to come up on some lap traffic here. Hopefully everybody can get through this pretty good.
Slow trucks up top, staying out of the way. Nicely done.
Maybe that's why Blue was in such a big hurry to get tucked back in so he could pass these guys and be that lucky dog contender.
I think he just wanted to make sure he was in front of the 16, because I think Fahey's the next one in the line, but now that's not even the case. Trying to keep track of it here. First truck one lap down, yes indeed, is the 9 of Ballou. Next one is Doug Wysocki, and I think that's the 34 that just went by. But without the draft, the 9 was able to get by that particular truck, no problem. See Ballou, though, he's going to make a move up the center here. He's not giving up. He's trying to go up the gut.
Let's just hope he don't wreck nobody doing that.
Ballou's got some talent out there. He's aggressive, but he knows what he's doing. 25 and a half laps to go here from Daytona. At the stripe, nothing's really changed out in front. Brian Rose and Chris Goins leading both lanes. Brian on the bottom, Chris up on the top.
I think Brian's changed his mindset a little bit now. I mean, earlier in the race, it seemed like he wanted to be on the high side. Now he's fine being on the low side.
Well, I mean, changing lanes and being aggressive in your defense, you can really run the risk of getting turned just by quicking up, changing the fast-moving lane, or someone's going to run into you, and they're not going to lift when you throw that late block, and then all of a sudden you're around and backwards, upside down on fire. It's counterproductive to win in a race. So right now he's just playing his cards the right way. Got 26 laps to go. A little issue in the timing tower here. I'll get that fixed here in a minute. Again, having some issues with SDK and their servers right now. A little buggy, but still working.
I thought the 85 may look to the high side here to go around Brian Rose, but looks like Chris may be by himself for a moment.
Yeah, Chris Goins is in trouble without any help here. From the end of the backstretch into 3, he may have just Joe Tucker tucked back in behind him. Is it Joe? Yes, it is. The number 13. Now, topside, you got Chris Goins, Joe Tucker, Brian McCann, and then the 00 Thunderclap entry. That's Stephen Cherick. And we may have some takers on pit lane. David Bradford and many, many others. So,
David's such a calculated driver, as you would say. I know this is playing right into his strategy.
Well, that's the thing about David Bradford, too, is like, he's got the skills. He can go out there and turn some laps with the best of them, but he also knows how to work strategy to his advantage. Again, fuel only for these guys. Looks like everybody opting not to take tires under the green flag. This should get us all the way to the finish here with 23 laps to go. These guys are ready to rock all the way to the checkered flag.
Yeah, and we'll see, who has actually practiced the pit stops here. I mean, this is not like PlayStation or Xbox or any machine where, the pit speed is set for you. You have to manually control all your speed and everything. So we'll see if anybody makes any crucial mistakes under a green flag pit stop.
You see, that's the thing, too, about the pit road speed limit is there's no speedometers in these trucks. So how are you going to know? Well, you got a tachometer on the dash. The pit speed limit is generated based on your RPMs. And the nice thing is there's these lights that are on your dash. And you might hear the spotter talk about watch your lights. Well, you're watching the tachometer lights. And when they turn green, it means you're going the right speed or the right RPM to match that speed limit. If it goes orange or red, well, you're pushing the envelope and you can get caught for speeding, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, I know back in my racing career, I've made some big mistakes on pit road, not practicing pit stops. I thought, all I got to do is avoid a wreck and do good in the draft, but pit road costed me some races. Well, a chance for some races.
Leaders off turn number 2. Little wiggle from Joe Tucker right up the back bumper of Chris Goins, giving him a huge push down the back straightaway. Oh, contact with Brian Rose and Joe Tucker. Tucker is around in the grass. Single truck incident. We stay under the green flag. No contact with the wall. Tough break. There goes the drafting buddy for Chris Goins. Joe Tucker trying to get straightened out in the grass. It's awful slippery down there. Meanwhile, Brian McCann is taking the top spot. Chris Goins is second. Brian Rose has slipped back to 18th. All by himself. We'll have to go get a look at that. Of course, we did not get a caution. Here we go. Joe Tucker, let's watch this. Watch it from the blimp. Looks like Joe just turns left, and he's not clear of the 89. Spins himself off the nose of the 89 truck, so that's going to send Brian through the grass. That explains why he's tucked back in, I think, the 18th position. Brian Rose on the apron here tries to gather it up. These guys all did a good job not creating a major accident after this.
Yeah, that's a fantastic job of Brian and everybody behind him.
Let's watch it here once again. We're going to ride on board the roof cam here with Brian Rose. Full speed.
The 13 did apologize to Brian in the driver's chat for that.
Well, I mean, it's a tough break for Brian, but I mean, ultimately, Joe's the one that got turned. I mean, he turned himself effectively, but tough break. But look at that. Eric's pick, Brian McCann out front. 18 laps to go.
We still got to have some green flag pit stops, so anything can happen.
Well, some guys have already made those stops, and remember, the reason they did that is because they short pit the stage, so they stopped a little bit sooner, so they needed fuel before the rest of these guys, so you're absolutely right. And you look at this, Zach Millett from the back of the pack up into the top 5 here, riding the draft from Mark Truxell. And here comes the pit stops. Brian McCann, Chris Goins, Jamie Kerr, all kinds of drivers. Oh, in contact. Woo! Will Hewitt. Man, oh man, oh man.
Somebody didn't get a speeding penalty. They were right on the cup of it right there.
Well, those guys just, they know how to get in and out of pit lane, that's for sure. But we're going to find out real quick. Brian McCann, fuel only. Chris Goins, fuel only. Brandon Mefford, fuel only. Mark Thomas, fuel only. Everybody down and away.
Did McCann take tires? He's
No.
still on pit road.
I don't think so. Brian McCann, maybe he just took right sides. He used a 12-second stop. Here comes Zach Millett. Mark Truxell as well from the lead.
I think Mark may have been undecided until he seen everybody behind him going.
Well, you got to do it. You cannot just pit by yourself. You're going to need drafting partners after the fact. Oh, Thomas McMullen deep into the box, slides through, has to back the truck up. Thomas taking tires? Yeah. Thomas McMullen, right sides went in the air. Everybody's gone fuel only. It's short, fuel only, maybe right sides. Neil Quick, your new leader. He's going to have to pit soon as well. He pit last at lap 35. And look at that. Neil Quick, the number 2, drafting off the 84 IROC teammate. Chris Mefford in the Spartan Logistics number 84. 16 laps to go. Quick still on the track. Stays out another time.
I think Neil may be hoping for maybe caution to come out here.
Well, right now, it wouldn't be too serving of him to do so because the top 20 are still on the lead lap. Top 26, that is.
He's all over the 84. We'll see if he decides to come down pit road this lap, or maybe he's forced to.
Or maybe he's good to the end. I don't know. I can't imagine he is at lap 35. 90% fuel load. Final stage was supposed to be about 45 laps. Of course, Neil's saving fuel tucked in behind the 84 here. He's got Mike Fahey behind him. The 05, I think that's Noah Rainwater.
If he makes it to the end right here, he's definitely done something special.
He's giving a big push to Mefford here. Rainwater is 4th in line there, but he's actually 36th on the racetrack as far as the standings are concerned. Let's go through the field here. Try to at least. Neil Quick, David Bradford, Kaysen Plott, Jeremy Paris, Chris Mathis, the top 5.
Neil's still not coming in.
Still on the track. 6th is Vincent Short, Keaton Burnett 7th, Zach Millett P8. 9th, Chris Goins, Mark Thomas is 10th, Brian McCann 11th, Jamie Kerr 12th, Steve Cherrick is 13th, Will Hewitt 14th, Mark Truxell is 15th, 16th, Pat Colby, Matt Goodell 17th, Brandon Mefford is 18th, Jesse Redding 19th, Justin Clapper 20th, Eric Beadle 21st, 22nd, Thomas McMullen, Ryan Rose only back to 23rd, Brian Rupert 24th, Alfie Charon 25th, and 26th. Last truck on the lead lap is the 71 of Alan DeFries. Quick still on the track. We'll see if he considers pulling down.
No, another lap out.
Coming to 12 laps to go. I tell you, I'm interested to see if he's good to go to the finish. He may have snookered the whole field because he's got plenty of drafting help, and none of them are drivers that are competing for that space, except for maybe Kaysen Plott. Kaysen's a ways back, too.
Caution, caution,
Oh, yellow!
caution.
Brian McCann in trouble.
Temps real quick and then tell me what you got.
Brian McCann slow. Looks like this may have been involved with a thunderclap driver. Can't tell which one it is, as they all look very similar. Might be Steve Cherrick, the 00. Indeed it is. So, what does this do for everyone's strategy? Because we're going to have less than 10 to go when we go back to the green flag. But let's take a look here, see what happened. Lap 63. A lot of things went down here. Let's take a look at it. We'll start with Brian McCann. Oh, Zach Millett involved here. Many drivers. We got 5, 6 drivers on the backstretch here. Looks like maybe Will Hewitt, Mark Thomas, Brian McCann, Jamie Kerr. Doesn't look too crazy. Chris Goins going the access road. Well, let's back it up, see what we can find out here about what triggered all this. Vincent Short at the lead of this pack. Oh, just a not centered bump from Jamie Kerr, and then you see that just domino effect. Jamie checks up. And Zach Millett mentioned this in practice, too. He says he feels like these trucks just don't line up the way that they used to, and it's very difficult to give a big push like that without really upsetting the truck. And, well, there's proof positive of it. Wasn't a major incident, but certainly enough to put us under the yellow flag. You see the 00 getting into, I think that's the 26 of Keaton Burnett.
Yeah, that caution was late, but I think it was definitely deserved.
Well, it was late because these guys hadn't really crossed up anywhere, but you see right here the big impact from Mark Thomas and Steve Cherick. That all plays a factor, too. You got Keaton real slow on the apron here. That's likely what triggered it, and it does take some time for that to come out. But here, we can tell you the moment of caution is right here. Yeah, it's Keaton Burnett. As soon as the yellow comes out, it's because the 26 is down on the apron, moving slow. So, pit stops. A couple guys taking the opportunity. Were they all involved in the wreck? Yes, they were.
Yeah, that Neil Quigg probably benefited the least from that, or he had to benefit the least from that.
Well, I mean, I would say it would have depended if he still needed to pit, but clearly he does need to pit, or did need to pit. He came down at lap 65, got fuel only, did not take tires. Given where he's going to restart, though, I almost would have taken tires. With 10 to go, I don't know. You don't have a whole lot more to lose by taking a set of fresh Goodyears under yellow, at least. I wouldn't do it under the green flag. You're just going to lose too much track position. But
yeah, I mean, this is going to be a, probably 8-lap shootout, so I don't know if we're necessarily done with the cautions. I spoke earlier of the third line forming. I think you'll see it try to form right here.
Yeah, I don't know for how long you'll see it. It might be the last couple of laps, and that's about it. We'll see. Because if they start going 3 wide right off the bat, I don't think we're done with cautions, and we may end up with our green-white checker situation, which we do have 3 that we can take advantage of, but I don't know if we want to use them all. It's like the last 5 minutes of an NBA game. It takes like an hour and a half. Nobody got that? But I need that button on my stream deck here.
Sometimes I'm laughing, but I'm not pushing my button to laugh in the mic.
Oh, I got you. Just leave me hanging. So look who's back out front. Case and Plot on the outside. David Bradford on the inside. He's going to be your leader, the 46, that is, on the bottom. Then it's Chris Mathis, Jeremy Paris, Vince Short, the top 5. Then Mark Truxell, surprise, surprise. Will Hewitt, 7th. Patrick Colby, 8th. 9th, Matt Goodell. Eric Beadle up into the top 10. Jesse Redding, Justin Clapper, Brandon Mefford, Thomas McMullen, Brian Rose, Alan DeFries, Zach Millett, Neil Quick, Jamie Kerr, the top 20. Going to get the restart with 8 laps to go. Now, Brian McCann is still in this. Looks like he did use his fast repair, so though he is in the 24th position, he can be very, very aggressive and very, very effective with that aggression. So it'll be fun to watch him to see if he can, well, do that black number 3 justice working way towards the front.
Green
Here
flag.
we go.
Back underway from Daytona, 8 laps to go.
I seen somebody jump out to that high side early. I was thinking, man, it's early, but
Chris Mathis took a look.
Yeah, Mathis was looking at it. Chris Mathis wants to win more than maybe anybody out here, so he'll do whatever it takes.
Zach Millett dove way to the bottom there. I thought he was going to make contact with Brian Rupert. Three wide into turn number 3. Millett on the bottom, DeFries and Rupert. Rupert slides up the track, does not get the wall, but it was close. Down to the bottom, it's the 83 of Mefford. Rupert trying to find something up top, doesn't have any help, and he's really close to that safer barrier. Can't keep it out of the wall. It's like a vacuum cleaner. Mark Thomas goes to the high side behind Channing Ballou. Seven laps to go from Daytona. Mark Thomas and teammate Brian Torsha, I think. Maybe not. I'm just losing my mind. Never mind. I saw red chrome and I thought it was his teammate. Nope. Just Jamie Kerr. Jason Lott continues to lead on the high side. He shares that with David Bradford. I say share because it's like a teeter-totter, seesaw, whatever you want to call it, back and forth. They're trading that position every few hundred feet. At the stripe, though, Kaysen's going to lead it. Big wiggle from a push from Chris Mathis. Plott hangs onto it and doesn't lift. Third lane starting to come into play, but Mark Truxell shuts the door on the 9/47. What'd you see, Eric?
Looks like we got cars everywhere. Maybe,
Slow trucks with everybody facing the right direction. We continue under the green flag. Oh, not anymore. Yellow, yellow, yellow. We got a trouble on the back straightaway. Big time trouble. Multiple trucks involved. Once again, Jamie Kerr, Brian Rupert, Thomas McMullen, Mark Thomas, Noah Rainwater, Brian Torsha, Brandon Mefford, Mike Fahey, Blair Patterson. This is the big one, folks. Back it up here. Looks like it might have started here with the 85 of Goodell. No, this is the back straightaway. So this might be what you caught, Eric. Pushing the pusher was the big issue. Sends Beetle up in front of Zach Millett. Millett checks up. It sends Beetle down into the 85.
I think it started with the 8 truck. They were 2 accidents kind of back to back, but I think the first one wasn't that bad. The second one was the bad one.
Well, here's the 8 truck. Man, it took forever for that yellow to come out. So Rupert's still in the throttle here. So that was the first issue. You see Beetle's still in it here. And there was the other issue. So that was after the fact. So there was problems going into 1 and 2, but then we got the big one afterwards. A lot of tore up trucks. Just about everybody from about 16th on back, maybe 17th on back, involved in that. Alan DeFries, maybe one of them as well. Again, things kind of got all spread apart here after the issue going down into the turn. Oh, this is going to be a big hit. Nope, he gets by. No, not quite. Not enough room. Rainwater took a big hit. So did Eric Beetle. Mike Fahey took a massive hit. Looks like Fahey's been riding the brakes. Both rotors, all 4 rotors were cherry red on that thing.
Looks like Martinsville out there.
Right. All right, so pace car lights are still on. We got 4 to go. It'll be 3 to go at the line. That's how it works with numbers. Next time by after that, we could get the green flag. It'll be 2 to go. So this could be a natural green-white checker, depending on how this plays out, which would not count towards our allotment of 3. We'll watch the pace car here. If those lights go out, that will be the case. Again, the way that works, they try to get the race in under the green flag to finish under a green flag. If it doesn't happen, as pace car lights do go off just now, if it doesn't happen, then they do a green-white checkered. That's the style that we do, which basically means the green flag comes out regardless of how many laps are actually left in the race if it's gone over the advertised distance. It's basically NASCAR overtime. The green comes out, field comes to life and does their thing. If they make it back to the white flag without an issue, which would be the very next flag, which is 1 lap to go, then they're good. No need to worry. The race is going to finish under the green flag. However, if on the restart they come off turn 2 and the whole field wads it up again, caution comes back out, and we try it again. And they automatically put an extra few laps on the board, another green, another white, and then hopefully another checkered, until we get a winner. Again, up to 3 attempts. In this case, it'll be up to 4 attempts, because this one is what we call a natural green-white checkered. It just so happens that the green's going to come out within the advertised distance with 2 laps to go. Everybody make sense? Did I do an okay job with that, Eric? Or did I just confuse everybody?
You done fantastic.
I know most of you guys out there know what a green-white checkered is, but once in a while, you never know, we might have some new viewers, maybe some new race fans that don't necessarily know how it works. I know it happens. Hopefully it happens. We want new viewers and new friends, or just friends in general. I don't have any friends.
I'm your friend, Steve.
Pace car lights off. Pace car down pit lane. Let's go racing.
Green
Let's
flag.
go. 3-lap shootout.
Green flag is out. 2 laps to go. Who's going to mind their P's and Q's the longest? We don't know, but right now, Case and Plot, happy where he's at. I don't know if I'd be happy in front of Chris Mathis, though. He can be aggressive, and he is not bashful about it. Off turn number 2, bumper to bumper, exit the corner, down the back straightaway. It's going to be a big push for Case and Plot, but nowhere to go is the 54. David Bradford just to the outside. He's not going to make room. He wants to win this thing, too.
Yeah, everybody up here wants to win, so I think these guys are going to get aggressive. As long as
Oh, we
get
got
to
trouble. Did he save it? Big trouble. Throw the yellow.
Caution.
Yellow is out.
Bud, tell me about your car real quick.
I think Mike Fahey was involved in that one. Tristan Sykes must have just shown up.
Wow.
Well, now we're going to get our first real green-white checkered attempt. See, it might have started here with Neil Quick. Quick's already backwards at this
Ooh.
point. Gets nailed by Brian McCann. Yeah, it looks like Neil was the first one sideways here. Yeah, good overhead shot here. The 2 truck of Neil Quick up top. Looks like Alfie Charon gets into Jesse Redding, sends him down the track a little bit. Jesse's sliding back up, chasing it. Ooh, big time netcode between those two. Gets into the door of Neil Quick, but nevertheless, it does send him around. Straightened him out for a minute, but now more contact, more netcode. Finishes off to 2. You've got Mefford's going to squeak by. Wow. Torch
What
gets
a hit that was.
big hit from Brian McCann. Joe Tucker's going to get a little piece. Carson Conway trying to weave his way through it. Relatively unscathed. 34, Doug Wysocki on the bottom. Wow. Let's watch it again here, maybe from a different perspective. And we'll go real time. Carson Conway did a fabulous job getting through that. I got to admit, he did a good job. Let's watch that.
Carson is not going to be too happy with his Cowboys losing.
Is it over?
It is over. The 49ers have won.
Should have said spoiler alert. All right, so watch the 72 of Carson Conway. He's in the top lane. This is all unfolding in front of him here. He dives to the bottom. Does he get a piece of Tucker? Maybe a tiny bit. Doug Wysocki to his inside. He sees him. Doesn't make any contact there. More wrecking in front of the 72. Just threads the needle on through. Little bit of contact, but again, keeps it pointed the right direction. I want to watch this from inside his car. At speed.
I think he definitely got a little match to the right side on the left side there.
I got to say, though, we rag on Carson a lot, but that was awesome. Just waiting to hear, I'm through, Harry. I'm out of here. Tucker family in the stream chat. It isn't over. Certainly is not. We got some more laps to settle this here. Case and plot. Now Chris Mathis to the outside of the 19, and David Bradford's going to be behind Plot. Now I would expect Bradford and Mathis to possibly work together. They know each other well. They've raced with each other a long time. Might be both of their best opportunities to win this race is if Bradford can find a way to sneak up top, or maybe even let the 54 in and be a drafting buddy with him. Find a way around the 19 of Case and Plot. But there's guys behind him with other plans. You've got Mark Truxell, of course, and you've got the 24, Jeremy Paris. Will Hewitt's involved. You've got Vincent Short, Zach Millett, Justin Clapper, Pat Colby. All these guys in the top 10 have a very good shot at it. And honestly, even further back, Brian Rose in 11th, Steve Cherrick 12th. I mean, these guys have a shot too. Anything can happen. If the front of the field just blows apart on the last lap, you could pick up a win from 10th.
And we have seen that happen before.
Indeed we have. Pace car lights are off. Of course, we're ready to go back to green. Next time by, we'll be racing once again, hopefully to settle this from Daytona. It was scheduled to be the Daytona 188 presented by Right Turn Racing. As it sits now, it might end up being the Daytona 200, depending on how this goes. Green flag's back out.
So far, so good.
Bradford and Mathis unable to hook up initially. Truxell slides up the track just a bit, almost opens the door for Vincent Short. Slams it quick enough. Big run coming on the outside. Jeremy Paris pushing Mathis down the back straightaway. You can see fire out of the pipe of Mark Truxell. He's lifting quite a bit, trying to stay off the back bumper of David Bradford. We talked about don't push the pusher. Now, if I know David Bradford, he's going to put his hand up in the air and say, come on, Mark, give me a push. Oh, we got trouble off turn 4. Big wreck. Is the caution going to fly? It does. One more opportunity. This would have been it. He just had to get to the white flag, but nope. Not this time. Going to try it again. Everybody wants to be the first to put their name on a No Bowl trophy in the inaugural season. Ryan Rose with severe damage as he rolls down pit lane. Still had a fast repair, though. He's not out of it. Bolting on 4 fresh Goodyears, too. Jamie Kerr. No fast repair. All right, well, let's see if we can figure this one out. I saw Vincent Short sideways for sure. You've got the 63, looks like Justin Clapper in the middle. We are 3 wide. Coming up on Zach Millett. Might have been some contact with Millett or just trying to avoid contact with Millett. Gets to the the right rear of Vincent Short. Sends him up the racetrack, and then you see the rest is history. Let's back this one up, see if we get a better angle on it. So right in the center of your screen, the black and purple machine, the number 63. Kind of hard to see the number on the roof, but it's Justin Clapper in the middle. Millett does come down just a hair, probably trying to protect that spot. I mean, I hate to say it. That's coming to a white flag at Daytona. That's what that is.
That's racing.
Well, just about everybody has likely used a fast repair tonight. The one that I haven't seen in any trouble is Case and Plot. And ironically, that's who's leading the race. You know who else hasn't been in trouble? David Bradford. He's running second. Take it for what it's worth, they qualified up front as well. Front row for both of them. And that's where they are here with 3 laps to go. Ready for another green-white checkered finish. Now, on the other hand, Chris Mathis, he started 38th. Last. Dead last. Here he is, running third.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Chris, but I mean, like I said earlier in the broadcast, he's always fast anywhere he goes. We didn't get to see David Bradford a lot last season. I know he's wanting to win. This is a little bit of bragging rights too. The first No Bull Series race.
Absolutely. David Bradford, he was doing some kart racing with his son. So, I mean, going out and doing the real thing, well, that beats iRacing any day. But it's cold out. Even in Florida, it's not necessarily the season. I know they can go out and they can run. In fact, it's probably a better season because in the summertime down there, it's like the sun, man.
Another green-white checkered coming up right here.
So I think this is our second official attempt. Same thing. You got to make it back around and take the white flag. That means cross the stripe when Barney's holding the white. If they wreck before then, we do it one more time.
I think both wrecks has been almost in the same position coming to the white flag.
It's been pretty close. I know that the previous one, I think it was the backstretch. This one was right off of turn 4. I'm screaming throw the yellow because it just seems like iRacing is taking forever to throw that flag. Let's try it again. Into the tri-oval. Field rolls and up to speed. Case and Plot edges out in front. Not a great restart for the 46 of Bradford, but maybe he's trying to open the door for Mathis to slide up. Mathis does not. He's got plenty of room, though. He could really ace the 19 if he were to do that. Nope, nothing there. Close the door does the 46 with help from Jeremy Paris. Down the backstretch, a lap and a half to go. Mark
Ooh,
Truxell.
3 wide.
Top 5, Paris, Mathis, Case and Plot, Mathis, David Bradford, then Jeremy Paris and Mark Truxell. Got Steve Cherick in the mix as well, Elfie Sharon.
And there's the white flag this
White
time.
flag one more time around to settle race number 1 of the No Bull Racing Series from Daytona. Will it be David Bradford, Case and Plot, maybe anybody else behind him? We're going to know here in about 40 seconds. Off turn number 2, it is still Plot. Mathis pushing with all his might, checks up, cannot pass below the yellow line. He thought about it, but had to back off just a hair. Back to the back bumper, and they're wrecking behind. We're going to continue.
We'll see if David Bradford can get the run coming out of turn 4 and edge out Plot for the win.
Mathis is pushing, and he turns the leader. Out of turn number 4, Mathis spins the leader. David Bradford's going to take the top spot at the line. The 46 wins it. Oh, there's going to be tempers flaring after this one.
Without a doubt.
David Bradford, your race winner. Also, your SCAR Cup Series wins leader. Wins the first race in the No Bull Racing Series from Daytona in a thrilling finish. Case and Plot gets turned off turn number 4, coming to the checkers. David Bradford picks up the scraps.
Wow. David Bradford's first race back in victory lane.
Talk about fireworks here at Daytona. I'd expect nothing less.
Mark Truxell with a solid second place finish.
Runner-up finish to start the season.
Where you took Case and Plot, who finished 11th. I took Brian McCann, who finished 14th. So I didn't lose too many points on you. We're gonna keep a total this season, Steve.
Just go with laps led, and I kicked your butt.
Yeah.
David Bradford, your race winner here from Daytona. We're going to step aside, get a break out of the way, and get our top 3 in the booth. We'll be with them after this. Stay with us.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Chicago won this. He did by 2/100ths of a second over Brandon. That S4 guy off turn 4 for the final time sees the checkered flag. It waves. It belongs to the 315. Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt screw the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. A thrilling finish to the Daytona 188. I think it came down to, well, it was 84 laps, so what's that? 2.5 mile track, 210. It's supposed to be 188 miles. It was 210 miles. Well, David Bradford stuck around just long enough to pick up a checkered flag off turn 4. Everything went crazy. So let's get a word with our race winner, driver the number 46, Bradford Aero Works Machine. David Bradford. It's Steve and Eric in the booth. You got a good copy?
Oh, yeah, man.
David, I don't even know what to say about it. That was absolutely crazy. You qualified well, put it out on the front row. We're really mixed up in this thing for most of the event. Stayed near the front, stayed out of trouble, it seemed like. Walk us through your race and really what it looked like out the windshield of that number 46 Tundra off turn 4 on the final lap.
Oh, man, it was a pretty crazy race. The guys that I'm working with here, they stayed on top of the strategy the whole race, man. I think, after that pit stop before that last yellow, I think we were about to run away with it. We had a good 7-8 second lead after pit stops. We're running pretty competitive lap times by ourselves, so, I got to thank them guys the most. Chris and Kaysen for coming out of retirement, basically, and coming back and running with us. It's always a good crowd. Channing with his mask skills. Jeremy, he stayed right in there with us. But, man, that last lap, I swore I saw that 19 car wreck about probably 15 times the whole way around before he finally bid it off turn 4.
Well, I'll tell you, it was an impressive race. Obviously, first one out. Drivers are learning each other. Obviously, you were up there with guys that you've raced with for a long time. What is the process throughout the course of a season? Like I said, you've been doing this a long time to kind of learn your fellow race driver, how they race, how they respond in situations like this, and how they can become better drivers throughout the course of the season.
Take notes, basically. It's whatever a fast guy's doing, go look at that guy, see what he's doing. Got a little bit of some chattery people, but I think that'll chill out. I think that's just the nature of the beast here at the 500. Any kind of restricted plate track, it's just one of them high tension, white knuckle kind of things. But I think it's going to be an overall good season. I think we're really going to see a lot of good racing, especially next week at 1.5 miles like Las Vegas.
So going into Las Vegas, obviously you got a lot of fast guys out here. Daytona tends to equalize things a little bit, but going there, who do you expect to be fast? I know we got a lot of fast drivers that we're going to pay attention to, but who's on the top of your list?
Oh, man, there's 10 or 12 that I think can win every week, just depending on how the cards fall. Of course, you got Baloo's one of them. He's been super fast, and, he's got that I rating to back it up. Kaysen, Chris, Jeremy, both of the McCann brothers, they can be fast whenever they show up. Zach, for sure, he can definitely pull a win out. Man, like I said, there's just too many to list that you got to watch out for every week.
Sounds like a good recipe for a good series going forward. David, congratulations on the victory here tonight. We're going to let you go, get to everybody else. Who do you want to shout out to?
Of course, I got to thank everybody watching at home. That Dad, George, April, all of them, they sat there and cheered me on and watched us for this whole, well, it was supposed to be 75 laps. I think we went 84, but man, I appreciate everybody that tuned in, and see y'all next week.
All right, David Bradford, congratulations. Good luck next week at Vegas.
Thanks, Steve.
It's David Bradford, your race winner. Next, we're going to talk to Mark Truxell, runner-up finisher here to start the season. Mark, it's Steve and Eric in the HBR TV broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hollering at me there, Steve.
There we go. Mark, how are you, man? Congratulations on a second-place finish to start the season. What a way to do it. What could you have done? Just maybe be in a better place to maybe win the race, but again, I'm sure you'll take second place. Tell us about it.
Just the two guys in front of me. I knew something exciting might happen, but I was kind of hoping for a little bit cleaner push there, and I was really wanting to get up in front of David. Is what I was wanting to do, because I think that might have been my best shot. But coming off of 4, kind of saw what was getting ready to happen and was prepared for it and capitalized.
Well, Mark, we talked about you in the Open. That you've been around for a long time racing with these guys. First and foremost, really from the Superior Class Auto Racing Series last season. Things changed a little bit. We're here with Noah Bull, but a lot of familiar names. And you're kind of doing what we used to see. You're always there at the end. You take care of the truck, and you're a competitor. And here you are with the second place finish, man. Congratulations. Talking about next week, I think we go to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What do you think going out there?
Las Vegas is one of my favorite tracks out there. You know, like a mile and a half. I always like the mile and a halves. Try to get up there on the high side and make it happen. But yeah, just momentum's going to carry me out there, and we'll just have to see what happens.
All right, Mark. Well, again, congratulations on a runner-up finish here at Daytona. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Heck, I want to thank my sponsors, Little Takes Cupcakes and DNA Restorations. I want to thank HBR TV, you in the broadcast booth, and just everybody watching. Appreciate it.
All right, Mark. Thanks for chatting, man. Good luck next week.
All right, thank you.
It's Mark Truxell, your second place finisher. Next, we're going to bring Alfie Charon, our third place finisher, up into the broadcast booth. Alfie, it's Steve and Eric. You got us?
I got you guys. How's it going?
It's going good. Alfie, been a long time since we've been able to chat, back to the OG days, but here you are, top 3 to start the season in the No Bull Racing Series. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, this race was something else for sure. I bet you it was good to watch from the broadcast stand.
Absolutely chaotic to watch, but it was a fun one. I don't know, man. How do you come in here with a strategy? I mean, I know you got to take care of the truck. You do have a faster pair, of course, but a lot of guys burn those early on. I think you might have been involved in a wreck or even maybe 2 at some point this evening. How did you balance the decision to burn a faster pair, take care of the truck? I mean, what's the strategy coming to a race like this?
Yeah, I burned that early faster pair with the first big caution, got involved in that. We went 3 wide, and I was at the wrong spot, wrong time. After that, I just sat around the back with Zach Millett and the rest of my team of Torch and that, and just tried to survive till the end. And then I got caught up in that one little mishap toward the end, but luckily it didn't damage my truck where it interfered with my speed. And just, it's all about surviving here. If you can survive, you can finish good.
Well, you did just that, brought home a top 3. Again, it's all about being in contention at the end. And you pick up a top 3 finish here to start the season. Congratulations. Next week, we go to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. How do you feel about your chances out there at the mile and a half?
I'd say good, but seeing how fast some of these guys are, I'm going to aim for a top 10 at least. We'll see what happens. You can hold it wide open for the first couple laps, and then it's going to come down to saving your tires and whatnot. So we'll see if I can get that down, because I'm not very good at that right now.
All right, Alfie. Again, congratulations, man. We're going to let you roll. Anyone you want to shout out to before we go?
Just got to thank Prestige Worldwide Racing for picking me up on their team. You for broadcasting. Eric for being your co-host in all of this. Got to thank No Bull for putting on the league. Got to thank Torch. He reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be a part of his team, and he paid my fee to get in this. So definitely got to thank Torch the most for doing it, and just everybody else that makes this league run good so far.
All right, Alfie. Well, again, congratulations on P3. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week at the Diamond in the Desert.
Thank you.
It's Alfie Charon, your third place finisher from Daytona International Speedway. Race 1 in the books from Daytona. Man, it was exciting. We expected it would be. Usually is, isn't it, Eric?
Absolutely one of the best races we see all year.
Well, with that, let's take a look at our official race results. I'm sure there's going to be some protests and conversations and the whole 9 yards to deal with, but for now, this is how they crossed the stripe. David Bradford, of course, P1. Mark Truxell with a second place finish. Alfie Charon, we just spoke with, P3. Chris Mathis, been a long time, but hasn't missed a step. Finishes P4 after contact with Case and Plot at the exit of Turn 4 coming to the stripe. Jeremy Paris was 5th. Justin Clapper was 6th. John Ballou 7th. Brian Rose 8th. Thomas McMullen was 9th. Jesse Redding 10th place. Case and Plot went from possibly winning this thing to finishing 11th. That's a tough one to swallow. Doug Wysocki was 12th. 13th position went to Vincent Short. Brian McCann 14th. Jamie Kerr was 15th. Neil Quick, the number 2 machine, was 16th. Pat Colby 17th. Steve Charrick 18th. Will Hewitt was 19th. Alan DeFries 20th. Brandon Meffer, the number 83, was 21st. Matt Goodell 22nd. Joe Tucker, 23rd. Chris Mefford, 24th. I said Joe Tucker, right? I didn't say he was Joe Mefford. I'm losing it. I haven't slept much. Zach Millett was 25th. Carson Conway, 26th. Keaton Burnett, 27th. Brian Torsha was 28th. Mike Fahey, 29th. 30th, Blair Patterson. Mark Thomas, 31st. 32nd was Chris Goins. Eric Beadle, 33rd. Brian Rupert, 34th. Eddie Rose, 35th. Noah Rainwater was 36th, Chris Elliott 37th, and Terry Crouch 38th after a second place finish in the Daytona 24. Not a good way to start out his oval season here at Daytona. It's going to wrap it up for us here at HBR TV. If you haven't already done so, of course, the broadcasts are on youtube.com/@HBRTV and the number 1. Please like, follow, share, subscribe, turn on the notifications. All those buzzwords. The likes really do help. They push this to a little bit wider of an audience, helps us gain some viewership, and it certainly does help the channel. Also, follow us over on the Facebook side of things, Facebook.com/HBRTV1. Sorry, guys, first race of the year. We do a little bit of posting there as well throughout the week. Not a ton. We're not going to blow up your notification center with a million notifications at HBR TV, but you will see the occasional post once in a while. Also, typically you'll get a race link for YouTube if you want to follow it there. That's an option as well, but the viewing of the race happens at YouTube, so make sure if you're interested in watching these things, you turn on them notifications and you like, follow, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you, Eric, for helping me up here in the booth. It's been a long off season. It's good to have you back, and looking forward to even more action here throughout the rest of the No Bull Racing Series season.
Absolutely glad to be here.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Tune in next time. Next week, same time, same bad channel. Actually, I don't even know if we're racing next week. Are we? Are we off?
We are. Super Bowl Sunday's our first off.
Oh, that was quick. Oh, no, we're working. We're here. Las Vegas, next week, January 29th. The week. Yeah, we don't have the Super Bowl for a while, buddy. All right, well, we messed this thing up terrible enough. We're getting out of here. Thanks for watching, guys.